It's a new day and a new year. Welcome to 2018. Welcome back to Deutz Farm. Hello again, I am Jim Bob. And as you can see, the Christmas tree has gone. It is sadly no longer relevant. Christmas has been and gone. New Year has been and gone. It's now January 1st, 2018. So, Happy New Year to you all. Hope you've had a good night celebrating. We're ready to start prepping our fields for the next round of crops. So we have a lot of cultivating that we need to get done today. All of our fields are done and dusted with the harvesting, including our awkward little sugar beet field that we harvested last time out. So let's grab our little Lemken cultivator. Let's make a start on the opposite side of the road this morning. It's getting quite foggy, as you can see. A little bit cloudy. It's going to be a bit of a grey start to the day, unfortunately. And I had hoped that we could possibly try and record this episode using the steering wheel, because it does work. But there are some limitations. Unfortunately, there are no analog sticks or analog controls on the wheel to replicate movement of vision. So you can see obviously I'm able to pan the camera around quite a lot and quite quickly when I'm using the pad like this. When I'm using the wheel, I can't do that, so I have to kind of stop, put the pad, pick up the pad, pan the camera to where I want it to be, then put the pad back down, and then carry on driving with the wheel, and then pick the pad back up if I need to pan again. It's awkward, it's clunky, it's very time consuming, and it's not suitable really for a farm that's so small and compact like this, where you constantly need to address and update your field of vision and your viewpoint. So I think what I might do is possibly look at using the wheel on Big Bud Farm when that comes back. Big fields mean straight line work, a lack of need to constantly change your viewpoint like this. So it might be a little bit easier to be more consistent and a little bit faster to use the wheel on a map where you don't need to constantly keep changing your viewpoint and your view direction. But it does work. Like I say, I've had a little bit of fun practicing with the wheel on a couple of different games, since I got my funky new race seat. So I've had a bit of fun with a Project Cars demo for Project Cars 2. I am going to be getting Project Cars 2 as soon as I can. Finances permitting. Obviously I've just shelled out quite a bit of money on a seat, so finances are a little bit stretched at the moment. But at the first financial opportunity to do so, I will be picking up a copy of Project Cars. I'll probably just be buying the game, the base game, and then maybe buy the season pass at a later time. I haven't quite decided yet exactly what I want to do with that. It would certainly be a lot cheaper to do it that way. I could pick up the game for about 25 quid brand new on Amazon, and then the season pass is actually on sale at the moment for that game, but I'd rather just get the game, I think, and then maybe get the season pass down the line. It'll no doubt pop up in another sale at some point. Plus I've also been doing a little bit of mud running as well in my spare time, playing spin tyres with the wheel. That's a lot of fun, that really is. Really enjoyed my my little session on that. I played Seashore on hardcore. I was already halfway through that file. I just kind of picked it up and finished it off, finished it off using the wheel. I'd already done the first lumber mill, so I did the second lumber mill using the wheel, and that was actually quite a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that. So going to be getting some more spin tyres footage up on the channel at some point soon, and that will be with the wheel. The only downside to that is because I didn't get the gear stick attachment for the wheel. I didn't pay the extra 30 quid for the gearbox. You can't use the paddles to change gears, because the paddles are just your L1 and R1 buttons, so they're just, you know, digital inputs. So you still need to have a pad nearby so you can press R3 and then use the stick to change your gears, but that's not too difficult. And obviously you need to kind of pan the camera around from you know, on occasion. I mean, you can do most of that with the wheel. You can actually change your camera angle a little bit with the wheel. You can't zoom in or out, so you still need, you know, the left stick of the joypad to do that. So that again is a little bit, you know, clunky. But one of the things I've been considering doing is taking a trip down to the hardware store and seeing if I can build some kind of bracket to fit on the side of the seat where I can just clip a pad into it, and that way I've got something mounted next to the wheel that I can literally then just lean across and move a stick to do a view change. I've had a quick go with F1 as well, and I kind of need to completely learn how to drive that game now that I'm using a wheel. It's such a different animal once you're using a steering wheel. It really is. So I need to kind of relearn how to play that game, or at least, you know, tone the difficulty way down a little, you know, until I'm used to the delay in steering, because I'm so used to moving at a certain speed. You know, it's much easier to do change of direction with your thumb on a stick. It's just like second nature. Oops. Whereas when you're driving with a wheel, your reaction times aren't quite the same. You know, it's much quicker to just quickly wiggle your thumb like that than it is to do that with a steering wheel. So changes of direction are a lot harder. I need to kind of get my reaction time up with that. On top of that, it's getting used to left foot braking as well. So need to kind of keep training myself a little bit more before I can start recording some F1 footage, but that will be coming up at some point soon as well. Probably some project cars when I get my hands on that as well. And obviously I've been having a little bit of fun on Farming Sim with the wheel as well. I did a test run on this farm just to see how practical it would be, and also how noisy it would be. Obviously when you've got a steering wheel that's a power assisted wheel like a G29, then using the wheel is noisy. Even without force feedback, you know, you still hear the noise of the wheel turning, and until I can find a way to kind of maybe isolate that noise a little bit, then that might also stop me from using the wheel in a recording. But I do like to sort of have a little play with the wheel every now and again while I'm farming. It's not going to be you know, a regular thing, I don't think. Who knows? Maybe in the future, we'll see. Maybe, like I say, I'll have to invest in my setup a little bit better. Maybe look at some new audio recording equipment in the future. That's going to be quite a way off. You know, having to make do with the kind of cobbled together setup that I have right now. I just don't have the money to buy a new high quality mic. I certainly don't have, you know, the money for, you know, a sound studios style setup with all those accessories. It's just way beyond my means. So we'll see. Like I said, the wheel may become featured in Farming Simulator in the future, but for now it won't be. It'll be just me having a little bit of fun with it in single player with the camera turned off every now and again. I'll mainly just be using the wheel for racing and for mud running. And in terms of the health of this farm, oops, we are still losing a little bit of money every day when the expenses go out at midnight. We're still losing between 1,000 and 2,000 euros a day. but we are now making a bit more money thanks to our tree. Now we're not going to buy any more for a little while. We've got what, 4 trees now, I believe, and I think that's enough for now. So we still have a 300,000 euro debt, so I need to start working to pay that off a little bit. Plus I would like to, as you know, get some additional fields. It's something we talked about last time out. So reducing the debt is going to reduce the amount of money that we're paying out at midnight every day. Oops, I forgot to lower the cultivator. Yeah, reducing our debt will definitely help with that. And if we get some really, really nice prices, then we can sell some crops as well and try and bring in some extra money that way. I have been keeping an eye on the kind of crop prices. They're not bad, but they're not brilliant at the moment. Nothing that's made me sort of jump up and go, now is definitely the time to sell. So until that happens, we'll probably hang on to our crop a little bit longer. Like I said, you know, we're making enough money through the day with the trees that we can cover the couple of €1,000 that we're losing at the end of every day, and still come out slightly ahead over the whole day. And as long as we can keep in that kind of range, then all is good. We do need to do some more work with our animals soon. Our pigs are almost out of corn. They've got maybe maybe a day's worth of corn left, so they're going to need a little bit more, which means obviously we're going to be planting a couple of fields worth of corn. I think we're going to need a header. We still don't own a header, so we may own one by the time we get around to that, but we may well just lease one again. I'll have a think about that. And our cows are running quite low on TMR, so we're going to need to mix up another batch of that soon as well. Probably once we finish cultivating, that might be what we need to do then, is address the TMR situation with our cows. Going to be changing up the playlists ever so slightly as well. Obviously Altenstein Deutz Farm is going to continue. I'm absolutely loving this little series at the moment. It's a lot of fun to play on. It's really easy to record as well. It's not a time consuming series to record, because I literally just hit record and run for 45 to 50 odd minutes or so, and then that's it. That's our episode. It's not like, you know, some of the other farms where we have to keep sort of jumping in and out and play for quite a few hours before we have an episode's worth of footage. I am going to give Estancia Lapacho a little bit of a breather for a couple of weeks, just to give me some time to stockpile some footage for some other stuff as well. But if you guys are still really keen on that farm, then we'll keep that running. If you're not so keen on it, then I will perhaps look at ending it a little bit earlier than I was planning. So do please let me know in the comments whether you want that farm to continue for another month or so, because if you do, then we will record some more channel footage for it, and if you're not that fussed about Estancia Lapacho, then we'll knock that one on the head. I'll probably keep the file and play on it from time to time, but we might sort of just retire it for a while and then perhaps come back to it in the future. Who knows? Big Bud Farm is returning. That is definitely happening. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, Big Bud Farm is definitely returning. I've been doing a lot of prep work in my kind of spare time over the last couple of weeks to try and progress that farm a little bit, and it's pretty much ready for a fresh run. So I just need to get some equipment repositioned and get everything sort of set up back to jump back in. But that will be returning very soon, probably in the next week or so. We'll start heading back to that farm there. And of course, American Midwest is still running. I want to try and do more than just one episode a week on that farm now. And City Skylines is starting to wind down. We're working on a big expansion to our city at the moment, and once that's done, that might be it for the city. We're not too far away from unlocking the international airport and monuments, so I may be knocking that on the head pretty soon. We do have transport. Is it Rail Tycoon, I think? Or Rail Empire, something like that. I forget the exact name of the game. New game from Calypso coming up. It's coming out on the 18th of January, and I'm definitely looking to try and get my hands on a copy of that game, because that looks like a lot of fun, and I do like railways, so that is something I think could be a lot of fun to play, and a lot of fun to do on the channel as well. So definitely going to be getting my hands on that in the future and bringing that to the channel, and that may well sort of take the time slot that we've been sort of using City Skylines in. And of course, Skylines will return in the future when we get our next DLC. When we get, I think the next one's going to be Natural Disasters, and then after that we'll probably going to be looking at mass transit. So definitely going to be running a series on each of those two DLCs when they are finally released. But I think it'd be nice to have a little breather from Skylines until that actually happens. So, as I say, we'll finish the expansion that we've just started to our current Snowfall City, and then once that expansion is done and completed, that will probably be the end of that Let's Play. There we go. That's the end of this field. So let's cut through here. Make a start on this one here. We do need to potentially get a larger cultivator than this little 3-meter jobby, and it's doing okay for us. It works well in conjunction with the plough if we get to the point where we're going to need to plough our fields. Oh, that's a point. I think I need to plough field 13, don't I? Yes, I do. See, I've just cultivated field 13 and I need to plough it. Ugh. Idiot. Well, I'll tell you what, let's actually no, because the worker is not going to work very well on that one at all. Let's hire a worker to do this field for us. Let's jump into the Sami Fortis. Let's go pick up the plough and let's plough out field 13. I completely forgot that we didn't plough that the first time out because it still had a crop on it that we didn't harvest. We're running a little low on fuel as well. Let's top that up on the way out. Just reverse our way back to the plough. You can see it's really quite overcast and gloomy at the moment now. And this is what I mean about not being able to do this kind of panning with the camera while driving when you're using the wheel. It's just impossible, unfortunately. Or at least, with the way I have things set up right now. As I say, if I can get a pad mounted near the wheel that I can then kind of drive one-handed maybe and control the the camera view like that, then that's something we could look at. But when you've got a camera that's kind of locked in a straightforward position, it does kind of feel a little bit restrictive when you're used to kind of just sort of doing this sort of looking and turning. It really does feel very strange not being able to do that. Let's go get some light in here because it's a bit dark with those clouds. There we go. So I'm gonna have to cultivate this field again now as a result of this. Not ideal, but yeah, it's my own stupid fault for forgetting about ploughing this field. Let's get a nice little turning buffer in just here. There we go. I'm making really good progress on my biennial South Park Marathon. I'm up to season 7 now. Just about now. I've got season 7 loaded up into my disk drive on my PS4. I've ploughed through the first 6 seasons. Getting through about a season every day and a half at the moment. Depends what kind of mood I'm in as to how much I'm getting able to watch, and also whether I've got a lot of recording and stuff I need to get done. I only have the one screen, so I can't watch and play. It's one or the other, and if I have to do editing, then again I can't edit and watch because I only have the one screen. So if I'm not playing or editing or something like that, doing something for the channel, that's when I get my free time. So I've been doing that. I've also been playing a little mobile game on my tablet, Motorsport Manager by Christian West, and I have to say, it's fantastic. I don't normally tend to play mobile games that often. I'll not in depth, long periods of time. I like to play like a match game every now and again, just for something to do, or a little puzzle game or something like that. But I don't tend to stick with a mobile game for very long. But I've been playing this Formula One management game so much, and it's absolutely fantastic. The first version is free. There is a sequel made by a different developer, which is paid, and I'm going to check that out in the future, I think. But for now, I'm absolutely loving, the original version. Really, simple premise, but it's quite tricky in places, trying to balance the cost of running your team and hiring your engineers and upgrading your facilities to improve your wind tunnels and your engine performance teams and so on and so forth, against your income and keeping your sponsors and your fans and your drivers happy, and building up a young driver program so you can get in cheaper drivers that may be even better than the ones that are available on the market for a lot less salary wise, because they've come through your young driver program, rather than just going onto the market and finding an available driver and paying quite a lot of money for someone who might not necessarily be a great driver in comparison. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun doing that, and then managing your race strategy and changing things on the fly if a pace car comes out, or if the weather changes. I can't even imagine how many hours I've sunk into that in just the space of a few days, but it's an awful lot, because that I can play, pretty much anywhere and any time, because it's on my tablet. So I've been playing that while I've been, watching South Park. I've been playing that when I've been editing. I've been playing that when I've been uploading and stuff, and yeah, just sunk so much time into that little game already. So how's our worker getting on? He's making pretty good progress. He's left the patch on the edge by the look of it. Why is he... I see missed that whole section there. We'll have to tidy it up after him. No surprise there. We usually have to with workers. I was expecting to have to tidy up along the bottom, but a little surprised about that strip down the side there. This is it, final pass that we need on this field. And I want to check out just how much we need for the next field, the one next to us. Because I can't remember, I'm guessing we looked at the price of it last time out. I don't think it was that expensive. Obviously we did a corn harvest on it. You can see that's been cleared away now, and field has been recultivated. That was done by the farmer himself, not by me. So let's just take a look. So the field is currently 56,500, and we've got a slight bit of a discount on it. Nothing substantial. Go over the bridge. Oops. Just clipped the wall there. Not so good. Put our plough away. But let's take a look at our animals as well while we're back here. So let's have a look. These are the current prices. You can see we've got an okay price on soybean. It's not fantastic, but it's not horrendous. What else do we have? Well, that's pretty much it, really, in terms of good prices. Yeah, wool's not too bad, but we don't have any sheep, so that's kind of irrelevant. We've got a potentially nice price popping up for sunflowers, but we don't have any sunflowers either, so that's kind of irrelevant. I am looking at the two prices that are both going up at Mary's Farm and Denton Bakery for canola, so it'd be quite nice to maybe sell 10,000 litres or so of our canola. We'll see how that goes. Depends what those prices end up at. We need to check our animals, didn't we? So there you can see we are running very, very low on power food now. Hardly anything left at all. Still got plenty of silage and hay. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to let the silage and hay run down. So we're going to leave the cows. Again, now that we've got that extra tree or two, compared to earlier in the game when we didn't have them, we can kind of afford to lose a little bit of our productivity, just a little bit. So I'm going to let the power food run out, and then I'm going to run down all that silage and hay, and once that's done, then we'll look at applying a whole fresh batch of power food, which should fill both bars simultaneously, and then run them down at the same time as well. But we can top up the grass, and we can top up the straw. So let's quickly do that now. Let's grab our front loader arms. And we need our bale forks. Or bale spikes. There we go. So I need one grass bale and one straw bale, I think. Take a look at our straw level. Yeah, I could probably get away with putting a full bale in there. Grass, probably get away with a full bale of grass as well, which is good. So I'm going to go sneak around here. Got plenty of straw, as you can see. I've only got 2 grass bales and 2 hay bales. So we're going to need to do some more baling soon. And we've only got a couple of silage bales as well, so something else that we are definitely going to need to do is another round of mowing soon and another round of baling. It does mean I'm going to have to lease a bale wrapper again, and I would rather kind of have quite a few bales to wrap rather than just the odd couple to make it worth it. Alright, so we've got a grass bale. Ooh, I can't see where I'm going. There we go, we're through. Let's go get a straw bale. And this could be tricky, but what I want to try and do is skewer this and carry them both. There we go. Beautiful. Look at that. Not perfect positioning, but close enough. So this is for the cows. So you know, I'm trying to remember where to actually put the straw bale for the cows. I'm guessing it goes in through there. Let's open the door up and find out. I know that we can probably drop the grass bale off just in here. There goes the grass. And there goes the straw. Beautiful. Alright, so not much else to do now. Just maybe clean up after them in a moment, but we can do that later in the day. So let's just close that back up again. We have fields that we need to finish off. So let's get this parked up here for a moment. And we need to clean this field up because this is a bit incomplete. Let's get that trailing edge down the side of the field. There we go. Let's go along the bottom. Obviously we need to go up and down here a couple of times as well. There we go. Turn around. Field on the way back down again, and then we'll need to finish off over that side as well, and then once that's done we can actually move back across the other side of our stream and work our other fields. Get everything along there, I think we did. These little bits just here. There we go. Now we'll draw our way back up here so we can get that last piece there that also was missed by our worker. It's like they get close to any kind of obstacle and they immediately go nope and just park up or turn around and drive off in the opposite direction. I wonder whether it would be possible for us to clear out those trees. Well, there does look to be quite a bit of a height change. I was just considering the idea of maybe linking those fields together, but I think with that little change in elevation there, it might be a bit tricky. Tell you what, we could. Oh no, we've got these weeds. I was thinking we could maybe knock those trees through and then work through here, but you know, with all those weeds down there, that just wouldn't work either. So, all right, that's this field done. Let's head over the. Actually, we've got one more on this side, haven't we? Which is the one up here at the top of the hill. There we go. So we'll get this field done. And then we're done on this side of the river or stream. I suppose it's way too small to be a river, so I suppose it would be a stream, wouldn't it? It's not very wide, it's not that deep. I remember last time when we hired a worker to to work on this field, he ended up getting stuck halfway up that rock face and then started chewing up half of that field as well. So make sure we're not going to have those issues this time. We'll do it ourselves. Such a picturesque map though. It's just such a shame that we have these frame rate issues at certain parts of the map, like down here. You can see it gets a little bit jerky in places. It's fine in one direction, then you have the camera in just a different angle and it gets quite jerky and a bit droppy. You pan around that way and it's absolutely smooth as butter. Yeah, it's kind of strange. I don't know why I just said smooth as butter. I think I got my metaphors mixed up there. Smooth as silk or smooth as a hot knife through butter, and I ended up just going smooth as butter, which isn't really that smooth on its own. So I need to start thinking about what we're going to plant this time around. Now we definitely need corn. That's a given. Yeah, we need that for our pigs. So I'm thinking we're going to do 2 fields of corn at least. Probably more than that actually. I might go for 4 or 5 fields of corn so that we've got, you know, a nice little bit of a stockpile. We won't be selling the corn, as I say, we need it for our animals. We are breeding quite a lot of pigs quite quickly. I'll tell you what, that's something we could look at, seeing as we don't have a need for manure or, well, I suppose manure not so much, but we certainly don't have a need for slurry at this moment because we don't have a slurry spreader and we don't have any money to buy one even if we wanted one. We could sell our slurry. Now the current transport trailer, trailer that we have for our water will only hold water, but we could replace that with the mod version of that trailer, which will hold everything liquid, and actually has a slightly higher capacity as well. And we could use that to actually transport our slurry to the slurry sell points opposite the vehicle store, and we could actually sell some slurry. I've never sold slurry before, ever. in Farming Sim. I've known it's always been an option, but I've just never done it. Same with manure. I've never sold manure either. So I think we could perhaps look at selling some slurry. That might help raise a little bit of cash, maybe, and even help us raise enough to purchase. What was the number of that field that we want to purchase? Field 12. Is it field 12? No, field 17. So we could look at that as an option. I wonder how much it's going to sell for. I'm guessing not a huge amount. Let's take a quick look at the store. Oh, it's nothing at all, is it? 41 euros and going up very slowly. At Right Agribusiness, that's pretty poor. I keep seeing that snow there, and the way it spins around, it makes me think that there's, you know, something going on that mountain. The sun just seems to catch it really bright. I didn't even notice that the clouds had gone actually as well. The weather's all nice and sunny now. So yeah, we're going to do some corn, and I think, seeing as we're going to have to, you know, at the very least, either buy or lease that header because we don't have one. We may as well do some sunflowers as well, so that we have got something that we can sell at a later date. Unless the price is good, in which case we could sell them pretty much immediately. So I think we have. If we do the fields on this side of the river in sunflower, the ones that we've basically cultivated so far, we get all of these done in sunflower, and then all the fields the other side of the river, so that'll be 2, the field just sort of to the side of 2, which isn't technically a field but is a field, if that makes sense, you know, ex-grass area, fields 4 and fields 8. We make all of those corn, keep them on the animal side, and then everything this side of the stream we can plant in sunflower, and then we'll actually have a commodity for, you know, for selling at a later point. I think that would make sense. It's all using that, you know, corn header that we're going to need to get to harvest the corn anyway, so we might as well really maximise our usage of that header. Because I think we're not going to be able to afford one. I think we're going to have to lease one. In fact, I'm almost certain of it, given the fact that, you know, we're going to have to pay for seed and fertilizer. We're just not going to be able to earn the money we need unless we get a sale, a good sale on one of our crops. We're just not going to have the money to buy one of those headers, so we may as well just lease one and just do all of our fields with a need for that header. That to me makes the most sense. There we go. Got my indicators, never mind. Alright, so I'm going to hire a worker for this bit here. Get him running up and down this field. Because I want to go and trade out our water trailer. It's empty right now, so now would be a good time to do that. So let's get our workers started on this bit. There we go. Let's go back to our Sammy Fortis. Let's go get our water trailer. Parked up over there. As if finished working again? Let's have a look. Yes, he has. Alright, that didn't go according to plan. He went halfway up the hill, and the second we left him alone, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to slack off." At least he didn't charge us for sitting there doing nothing. There we go. Is he going to carry on when he gets to the bottom? I know we're going to have some tidying up to do again, as we always do. Yeah, he's going to carry on. Excellent. Right, so let's take this to the market. And we'll replace it with a slightly larger and slightly cheaper multi-purpose liquid storage tank. Ooh, badge bit of shuddering just there. Road's busy. Let's sneak out in front of this guy. There we go. So we'll park that just there. There's our manure and slurry sell points just over there. So we'll get 8,300 for that. That's good, because I think the other one only costs 8,000. Maybe even less than that. Let's go to miscellaneous. And there it is. It's 7,000. Excellent. So what colour do we want? Let's see. We don't have a Deutz-Fahr green, do we? No. I suppose that's probably the closest. It's more of a Fendt green than anything else. That's too dark. That's definitely the wrong colour. That's very dark. And that's just wrong. We've got all these empty palette, palette choices at the bottom here. It'd be great if we could actually just choose the colour we really, really wanted, but we never can. Well, very rarely can we. I'm going to go with this dark green. Why not? Let's buy that. 7,100. You can always change the colour later if I don't like it. And there we go. Oops, I just turned the engine off. We have our multi-purpose transport trailer, so we can actually put slurry in this and sell some slurry. So let's try that. Let's do a little trial run. Like I say, I've never done this before. I've never sold slurry before, so this will be something that's a new experience for me on Farming Simulator. Make our way back into the yard. I'm trying to think where to go first. I suppose down here by the cows. That's the manure. I think the slurry's around the corner if I remember rightly. Let's back the trailer in there. Yeah, there it is, right on the edge. Closer to the wall. There we go, right. So we're filling it with slurry. We'll get 8,000 litres. It's worth very, very little. 43 euros. It's still going up, but I just want to see just how little that actually translates into. Because it's not going to be much at all. It's going to be terrible. but I do want that kind of first moment, you know, first video of a new year. We'll have our first slurry selling experience as well. Why not? There we go, road's nice and clear. So into the sell point. We'll go in the other way, I think. This car go through. There we go. And there we go, we are selling some slurry. You can see our money's going up. Not very quickly, but it is going up. We're going to be making a couple of €100 at the most here, I think. 347 euros, wow. How much slurry do we actually have to sell? Ooh, nearly 20,000 litres still at the cows, and another 8,000 litres at the pigs, so yeah, that's not bad. You know, it's better than nothing. At the very least, it contributes towards paying for our worker. But it's certainly not going to get us rich anytime soon, that's for sure. You know, we would need to sell a huge quantity of slurry in one go to really get a decent kind of return on it. How much has that affected the price as well? They dropped it by €2, so I'm going to let that price continue to go up before we sell anymore. And I'm going to carry on getting these fields cultivated off screen, so when we come back we'll start looking at doing some more planting. I think that is going to be the way to do it. So thanks for watching the first episode of the new year here on Deutz Farm. Like I said, I hope you had a good celebration, and I hope you have a really good 2018. And I will see you back with some more Deutz Farm action here on Altenstein very soon.